Welcome to SAT Prep Thursday. Today we're doing College Board SAT Practice Test number 10, Part 3. This is not a calculator approved section. Also, there's a file link in the description for this practice test. What value of z satisfies the equation above? Well, first let's collect all the z's on the same side so that we get z plus 1 equals 0, which means that z is -1, so B is the answer. A television with a price of $300 is to be purchased with an initial payment of $60 and weekly payments of $30. Which of the following equations can be used to find the number of weekly payments W required to complete the purchase, assuming there are no taxes or fees? Well, we look at this and we see 300 is, so that's 300 equals, which we have in all of these. The initial payment of $60 means that we have a plus 60 that should be there. This doesn't fit, which means we would wind up with C as the answer. The table above shows shipping charges for an online retailer that sells sporting goods. There is a linear relationship between the shipping charges and the weight of the merchandise. Which function can be used to determine the total shipping charges, f of x, in dollars for an order with a merchandise weight of X pounds? So it says that this is a linear function. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find the slope using these 2 points right here. This means that we're going to have 21.89 minus 16.94 over 10 minus 5. 21.89 minus 16.94 is equal to 4.95. So 4.95 divided by 5 is going to give us a slope m of 0.99. So if it doesn't have a 0.99 as the slope, we're going to go ahead and eliminate it. Now we want to find out what the b value is. Is it 0 or is it 11.99? So we're going to say y is mx plus b. And we're going to put in the value of 16.94 is equal to 0.99 times 5 is plus b. And we're going to go find this b. 0.99 times 4 is 4.95. So we're going to subtract 4.95 from both sides of the equation, leaving us with b is equal to 11.99. So B is the answer. The line in the xy plane above represents the relationship between the height h of x in feet and the base diameter x in feet for a cylindrical Doric columns in ancient Greece architecture. How much greater is the height of a Doric column that has a base diameter of 5 feet than the height of a Doric column that has a base of 2 feet? Well, if it has a base of 2 feet, then we can see that it has a height of 14 feet. And if it has a base of 5 feet, we can see that it has a base of 35 feet, which means we're looking at 35 minus 14, which is 21. C is the answer. If x is greater than 0, which of the following is equivalent to the given expression? Well, the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of x squared is x, which means that A is the answer. What are the values of x that satisfy this equation above? Starting out really simple, I know that if x was 1, I'd have a 0 in the denominator, so it cannot be an answer. Now, let's multiply both sides by this x minus 1, so that we have x squared minus 1 is equal to negative 2x plus 2. Gathering everything on the same side of the equation is going to give me x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, I can factor this so that I have an x plus 3 and an x minus 1 is equal to 0. This means that x is negative 3 is an answer and that x is 1 is an answer. But we already know that 1 cannot be the answer, so only negative 3, A, is our answer. The graph of y is equal to f of x is shown in the xy plane. What is the value of f of 0? F of 0 means when x is 0, and if I just look at the graph, I see that it's 4. D is the answer. In the figure above, point B lies on AD. What is the value of 3x? Well, I know that all of these add up to 90 degrees. So that's 2, 4, 5 x's is equal to 90 degrees. So dividing both sides by 5, I would get that x is 18. So if x is 18, then 3 times x would be 3 times 18, which is 54, so C is the answer. Which of the following is the equation of the line in the xy plane? Well, in this case, if x was 0, then y would be equal to a positive 4, so it can't be an answer. And if x was 0 here, y would be equal to a negative 4, which could be an answer. If x is 0, y would be a negative 4, so it could be an answer. And if x was 0, then y would be a positive 4, can't be an answer. So now we have it halfway down the line. So what we want to do is we want to turn these into y is mx plus b form. This would give me that x minus 4 is equal to y. This means that there is a positive slope here, and this is definitely negative. So this one gets to be eliminated. Writing this one in slope-intercept form, I would get y is negative x minus 4, and that is our answer, negative slope at negative 4. The graph of y is equal to 2x squared plus 10x plus 12 is shown. If the graph crosses the y-axis at the point 0k, what is the value of k? So we're looking at this, and when x is 0, those would go away, which means that 12 is our answer, D. A circle in the xy plane has center 5, 7, and a radius of 2. Which of the following is the equation of the circle? So we need to know what the equation of the circle is, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Now the radius is 2, which means we're looking at equals 4, because 2 squared is 4. That eliminates both of these as answers. 5 is h and 7 is k. So I'm looking at a minus 5 minus 7. That leaves us with A is the answer. In the figure above, triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. What is the value of cosine E? So the cosine of an angle is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. In considering a triangle, a right triangle, in this case, we have the angle R, opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. In this case, we're looking at our angle, opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. But this is entirely similar to here, which means it's just a scale of it, which means we can say that the cosine of E would be the same as the cosine of B, which would be 12 over 13. So B is the answer. In the xy plane, the graph of the function f of x is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4 has two x-intercepts. What is the distance between the x-intercepts? So we're going to take this and we're going to write it in factored form. This is going to give us that x plus 4 times x plus 1 would be equal to 0, and this is where our intercepts would occur. This means that we have a negative 4 and we have a negative 1. So what is the distance from negative 1 to negative 4? Well, that's 3. What are the values of x that satisfies the given equation? I think the fastest and easiest way to do this would be with substitution. 1 times 4 is 4, and 4 square rooted is 2. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So it would seem that 1 is not an answer, and we could eliminate that. However, we need to know if 2 is a solution. 9 times 4 is 36, and the square root of 36 is 6. 9 minus 3 is 6, so number 2 works out. B is the answer. In the system of equations above, A is a constant. For which of the following values of A does the system have no solution? Well, let's get these y terms to be the same. And to do that, I'm going to multiply the top equation by 2. This is going to give me a negative 6x plus 2y is equal to 12. And it's going to keep the bottom equation, ax plus 2y is equal to 4. The fact that these two numbers are different while these are the same means it would be parallel. There would be no solution. As long as a were equal to negative 6, so A is our answer. A manufacturer shipping units of a certain product to 2 locations. The equation above shows the total shipping cost T in dollars for shipping C units to the closer location and shipping F units to the farther location. If the total shipping cost was $47,000 and $3,000 were shipped to the farther location, how many units were shipped to the closer location? So this 47,000, this represents T. 3,000, this represents F, which means I have an equation that says 47,000 is equal to 5C plus 12 times 3,000. Now 12 times 3,000 is going to be 36,000. And I can subtract that from both sides, which means I wind up with 11,000 on the left is equal to 5C on the right. 11,000 divided by 5 means that C is 2,200. If A and B are the solutions to the equation above, what are the values of the absolute value of A minus B? So we need to go figure out what our 2 solutions could be. So this would mean in a positive version, we would have 2x plus 1 is equal to 5. And in a negative version, we would have 2x plus 1 is equal to negative 5. So solving the right, we get 2x is equal to 4, or x is 2. And in this case, we get 2x is equal to negative 6, or that x is negative 3. So what is the absolute value of 2 minus a negative 3? Well, that's going to be equal to 5, because this becomes a plus 3. And the absolute value of 5 is 5. If you did this in the opposite order, where you said what would happen with negative 3 minus 2 absolute valued, you'd wind up with the absolute value of negative 5, which is also 5. Juan purchased an antique that had a value of $200 at the time of purchase. Each year, the value of the antique is estimated to increase by 10% over its value the previous year. The estimated value of the antique in dollars 2 years after purchase can be represented by the expression 200A, where A is a constant. What is the value of A? This 10% increase means that what we're talking about is 1.1 higher than 200. And every single year, you would multiply it by 1.1 again. So this would be year 1, and this would be year 2. So if I'm looking at 2 years, I would be looking at 1.1 times 1.1, which is 1.21. So the value of A in this case is 1.21. Based on the system of equations above, what is the value of 5x plus 5y? Well, let's look at these numbers. They're nice and convenient because it's all lined up in the same form. 2 and 3 would make 5x. 3 and 2 would make 5y. 1,200 and 1,300 would make 2,500. So 5x plus 5y would be equal to 2,500. If u plus t is equal to 5 and u minus t is equal to 2, what is the value of u minus t times u squared minus t squared? Well, we already understand that u minus t is 2. U squared minus t squared, that's a u plus t times u minus t. Now, u plus t is 5, and u minus t is 2. So we wind up with 2 times 5 times 2, which is 20.